Alright, in this video, we are going to go through the answers and steps to our MCQ booklet. Let's start off with question 1 first. Alright, question 1, you have got P and you have got Q, and they would like you to have headings for P and Q. So let's look at what are the possible headings. So if you look at the first option, has mass, sounds good to me, so I'll put a tick over there. Alright, and does not have mass. Okay, this is not possible because cooking oil has mass, oxygen also has mass, so number 1 is out. Okay, number 2, has a definite shape. Okay, good, because all the solids have definite shape. Does not have a definite shape. Oxygen has no definite shape. Okay, liquid has also no definite shape, right? It takes the shape of the bottle. So this is correct. The answer is number 2. Alright, now let's look at number 2. And we are testing you on the processes. Let's start off with the easy one first, maybe with A. A, solid going to a liquid, is also known as melting. And from a liquid to a gas is actually boiling. From a gas going back to a liquid, that reminds you of water vapor going to water droplets, right? So this is called condensation. And lastly, you have a liquid going to a solid. This is actually freezing. So if you look at the options, option number 1 will be the correct option. So that's for question number 2. Let's go on to question number 3. Okay, question number 3. A block of ice was placed in... A block of ice was placed in an empty cup in a room. The temperature of the air was 25 degrees. So which of the following is correct when the ice is melting? Okay, so the ice, obviously you're talking about a place where it is 25 degrees Celsius, probably like a room temperature. And in this case, your ice must be melting, right? Your ice is melting, and that means when it is melting, it must be gaining heat. That's 1. So already options 3 and options 4 are wrong. And what happens to the temperature of the ice? Now, if you remember our failed experiment, we were supposed to make sure that the reading of the ice remains at 0 degrees Celsius. I showed you a video where the ice was melting, but the temperature remains at 0, right? So in fact, because even when ice is melting, the ice itself, the temperature is supposed to be at 0 degrees. So the answer in this case is number 1. Okay, now the table below shows the melting point of substances A, B, and C. Now, at which temperatures will A, B, and C be in the same state? Alright, now we have to go options by options. Now, if it is 15, this is where 15 will be. This is where 15 will be, but 15 will be here, right? If you remember, it's like our number line. Okay. So for A and B, 15 would mean that it is still a solid. A and B is a solid. But for C, it will mean that at 15 degrees, it has already melted. So 15 cannot be a degree. Alright, now if you do the test the same way, you will find that after all the tests, at 100 degrees, 110 will mean here, here, and here. Alright, all of which it will have already boiled, and it means that all of them will have already turned to a gaseous state. So all of them exist in the same state at 110 because all will have already boiled. Okay, so those who are hardworking, you have drawn your number line. Alright, if you remember the number line, it will be something like that. Okay, for substance A, for substance B, and for substance C, and so on, if you remember how the line was being drawn. Okay, I'm not going to draw here and waste time. So that's for question number 4. Alright, question number 5. In an experiment, PET poured equal amount of water onto 2 identical towels, A and B. She spread out the towels and exposed them to different conditions. So it looks like the 2 conditions that are different are this. So for towel A, no wind and slightly cooler. For towel B, there's wind and there is also a higher temperature. So by looking at the table, you will already have known that this one has an increased greater rate of evaporation, right? Because evaporation will mean that your temperature increase, your presence of wind, all this will help evaporate your liquid faster. Alright, so if the above condition were kept constant, now this sentence means quite a lot. It means that the wind is constant, the temperature is also going to be constant. Now this would also mean that your rate of evaporation is going to be constant. This will make sense, right? Because if you increase your wind, let's say your wind got stronger and your temperature got higher and higher and even higher, your rate of evaporation will get higher and higher, isn't it? Alright, so your rate of evaporation has got to be constant because the condition is also a constant. Alright, so you will not have a graph where the rate is changing. Option 3, option 4 is out because the rates are changing. You find that the rates can only change if your conditions keep on changing. Got hotter, the wind got stronger. So cannot be. So it is between option 1 and option 2. B is obviously a higher rate of evaporation, right? So this one is higher, whereas your A is lower because the temperature is cooler, there's no wind. So the answer must be option number 2. Alright, question number 6. Okay, quite an interesting question. This question requires you to light up the eyes. You know, some robots, they have the eyes that has lights on it, and also want the buzzer to work. So they want the eyes, which is the bulb, to work. They also want this buzzer to sound. So which switches must be closed in order for this to happen? Now this buzzer happens to be inside this parallel circuit. So switch number 1 must obviously be closed. Otherwise the buzzer is not going to sound, right? So it must be all the switches 1. So already 2 options are out. Let's see if we need switch number 2 also. Now switch number 2, in order for the bulb to light up, yes. Otherwise you will have an open circuit, right? Your current will need to flow so that your bulbs can light up. So switch number 2 must also be switched, must also be closed. Alright, so that your current can flow, your bulbs can switch on. So the answer is number 3. Okay, alright, now we come to the interesting question. We actually discussed this in class. We gave a fake number. In this case, because the maximum number is 3 bulbs, so I'm going to assume that all the batteries have 3 volts. Okay, so with all the battery 3 volts, that means this one will be 1.5, this one is 1.5 because it's shared in a series. This one is even worse, 1 volt, 1 volt, 1 volt. For parallel wise, like what Ian actually mentioned in class, because they lined up properly, so this one and this one goes to the battery, 3 volts they will get, 3 volts they will get. Alright, so if you looked at which one is the brightest, the 3 volt one must be the brightest, followed by the 1.5, and then the 1 volt, which is not as bright. It is the least bright, the dimmest. So it will be C, A, B. Answer is 4. Next question. So these are all the results. Now something we have done like this familiar, right? In the past we have been asked to always draw the wires to show the results over at the table here. Alright, so this one right now is asking which circuit connection is not possible. Alright, now for P and Q lit up. P and Q lighted up. So P and Q must be connected. All of it are connected. So all of it are possible still. So nothing much to tell. R and U is not lighted up. If R and U is not lighted up, it means that they must not be connected. Right? So this one is not connected. This one is not connected. Sorry, R and U. R and U is this and this. R and U. All looks okay to me. S and T will light up. For S and T to light up, alright, it's a bit messy. For S and T to light up, they must be connected, right? So this one is connected, this one is connected, this one is connected. This one is not connected. If it is not connected, it shouldn't light up, right? But it lit up. So that means option 4 is one of the circuit that's not possible. Alright, because S and T is supposed to be connected in order for it to light up. Okay, so this is quite an obvious choice already, yeah? Okay, question number 9. Jenny used different materials to set up 4 circuits. So these are all the results. So we are going to write some short notes in. Now starting with circuit A first, the bulb didn't light up. Now if in circuit A the bulb didn't light up, that means to say, I'm going to write some short notes, X or W is not conductor. Obviously one of it is not a conductor, right? That's why the whole series is open circuit. So which one is not a conductor, we don't know. We just write X or W. Could be one of it, could be a non-conductor. Both could be a non-conductor. What about circuit B? Circuit B lighted up. Now for circuit B to light up, that means X must be a conductor. Y must also be a conductor, right? Otherwise it won't be a closed circuit. So we are writing all the results now. Circuit C, it doesn't light up. Now if it doesn't light up, that means Y or W is not a conductor. One of it is not a conductor, or maybe two of it is not a conductor. That's why it doesn't light up. Okay, circuit D, it lighted up. Circuit D lighted up means X is a conductor. Z is also a conductor. Alright, so what do you have? What can you conclude from the results? Now those that are unsure, we are not very sure, but those that we are sure, X is definitely a conductor. Y is definitely a conductor. Otherwise you won't even light up. Z must be a conductor also. Alright, so the answer is number 3. Question number 10. Which one is the process where pollination takes place? Let's start with P first. Now P is from a female going to a male. That's not possible, right? The direction is always from male to female. P is out. Alright, let's look at Q. Q is from a male to a male. That's weird. That's out also. Feels like gay to me, male to male. Right, let's look at R. From a male to a female. Yes, there's a cross-pollination. So R is possible. And then let's look at S. S is from a male to a female. S is also possible. It's a self-pollination. So R and S is the answer. Question 11. You have got 3 different types of plants. Now I will suggest that because there are so many different symbols that are used, what you can do is actually use colors to help. All the triangles refers to all the plant X. Okay, because symbols sometimes a bit confusing. And Y will be a star shape, so all the Y's are here. Alright, you notice when I use colors, they helped a lot. And I'll use Z with a different color. Z would be all the dots here. Okay, so it gets a little obvious already. Now, for plant X definitely must be water, right? Because you find it near the river and it follows the direction of the water, right? You remember there was an open-ended question. It must be near the river and it follows the direction of the water for you to confirm that it's a water dispersal. Plant Y, interesting. Plant Y is scattered all around. So if it is scattered all around, regardless of the wind direction, then we can be sure it is an animal. Plant Z is all in the same cluster. So we can actually say that it is explosive because it explodes. Most of it are scattered around the same place, explode to the same place. Alright, so let's look at the options, and the answer is actually option 2. This one is water because there's a fibrous husk, there's holes for it to float. This one is animal because there's hooks, you can see the hooks. And this one is explosive because anything that is in the pots are explosive in nature. Alright, so the answer is 2. Okay, question number 12. Human reproduction. So an egg can be fertilized by many sperms. Not true, because it is only supposed to be fertilized by one sperm. The fertilized egg will develop into a baby. That's true. Only the egg contains a nucleus. Only the egg. Is it true? Egg is a cell. Yes, it's a reproductive cell. It contains nucleus. But the word only is quite suspicious already, right? Because male reproductive cell, which is the sperm, also is a cell, and it is supposed to have a nucleus as well. All cells will have a nucleus. So this one is not true. The answer is B only. Okay, question 13. Question 13, very familiar. We have done something like this before in an open-ended. Trapped in a small lift, people started kicking the door. So what happens to your oxygen level? It should go down because you will need energy, right? Remember, these two words are together, energy and oxygen. Whereas your carbon dioxide is a waste gas, it goes up. So the options that's only available will be option 1 because the oxygen is going down, whereas the carbon dioxide is going up. So the answer is 1. Question number 14. Human respiratory system. Alright, A is about to enter. So let me just help the picture so that the picture will help me. B is going out. So let's try to see which option is true. Air in A is cooler. It says here this is cooler than B. Is it true? Those that are freshly breathed in, it's cooler. When it comes out, it's warmer, right? So number 1 is already the answer. It's already quite true. Okay. Question number 15. So this is an arm muscle. It's not a heart, it's an arm muscle. So this is the direction of the heart, is flowing from the heart. So you can already say that this is actually fresh blood containing a lot of oxygen because it just comes from the heart. Okay, it just comes from the lungs, comes from the hearts, and it's going to go in a circulatory direction, and it goes back to the heart so that the heart is going to bring it back to the lungs to breathe out. So this one, definitely oxygen is already all used. Okay, so which one will show the highest to the lowest in terms of the amount of oxygen? X will be the highest, that Y is halfway, W is the lowest. So your answer will be number 1. Okay, so the keyword is quite important. From and to. From the heart, that means it's very fresh. to the heart is going to send back to the heart so that it can be breathed out via the respiratory system. Okay, that's question 15. Let's move on. Question number 16. And this is a primary tree, easy question. What is the functions of the root? Store water, not quite. Hold it firmly to the ground, yes. Absorb water, yes. Answer B and C. Alright. Okay, so this one shows how water and food are transported to different parts of the plant. So my different parts of the plant will have roots, stems, leaves, and flowers. Okay, we'll put flowers and fruits together. So roots, of course, the next part that it travels to must be the stem. Alright, now there is now a challenge because I do not know X and Z is what. Stem and roots have been done. I don't know which one is the leaf, which one is the fruit. We got to see the direction. Okay, we got to see the direction. So what happens is that we can make a little guess. Let's put this as leaf. Let's put this as flowers. Okay, so it seems that the direction is going both to the leaf. How is that possible, right? Because the leaf is a food factory. If it's a food factory, there should be something coming back to the stem, coming back to the roots, right? So already I can say this cannot be the leaf. Alright, the only part that can be a leaf will be here, because you are making food, you are also bringing it back for the stem, and the stem is also bringing water for the leaves, whereas this one is the flowers. So the options here will be number 1, flowers, stems, and leaves. All these short notes that I'm making. Okay, question 18. Raj wanted to find out if the presence of leaves affect the amount of water. So by textbook knowledge, you know that more leaves would mean what? More water carrying tubes, right? More water carrying tubes, and also more chances to make food. They will need more water. So more leaves equals to more water. So in this experiment, the leaf is the only change variable. The rest ought to be the same, right? So let's take a look. Water, let's do a bit of guessing and checking. A and B then. A and B, water must be the same. There's a layer. Okay, the plant has the roots, yes. And the only difference is this one got no leaves, this one got leaves. Isn't that the change variable that we want? So A and B will be a good fair test. Already option 1 is out. Okay, question 19. Question 19, does it have a cell wall? Now, if it doesn't have a cell wall, then roughly you can know that this could be an animal cell already. Does it have chloroplast? Yes, then this must be leaf. Okay, got cell wall but no chloroplast, then this is the root cells. Okay, so let's take a look. Which are the possible answer? A must be animal cell, so this one. Okay, B and C. B will be a root cell, but C is a leaf cell with chloroplast. So chloroplast is all these little bubbles. So yes, this one no chloroplast, this is worse. So you are left with option number 1. Option number 1, root cell has cell wall but no chloroplast, right? So this one also okay. So that's question 19. This exam paper I realize is quite easy. All the guessing are all correct at option 1. Don't need to guess the other options. Okay, but this is not the case all the time. Question number 20. Which of the following structures are present in what we call as chick cells? Alright, chick cells is also animals. Chicks are taken from us, human beings, we are animals. So you don't find cell wall, you will find cell membrane, nucleus, cytoplasm. You also will not find chloroplast, but of course there's no options there. So B, C, D is the answer. Now the diagram shows the human digestive system. Where are digestive juice? Saliva, yes. Stomach, yes. Large intestine, no. Small intestine, yes. Remember, small intestine is where digestion ends. It doesn't mean that there's no digestion. There's still digestion. There's still breaking down. It's just that the final stage is there also. Alright, so that means large intestine does not digest anything. So it will be A, B, and D. Answer number 3. Okay, move on. This is a simple mathematics question. Why I say mathematics is because you need to read the graph properly. Now, in the month of March, you have number of births 10, but also number of deaths 10. So that means in the month of March, the number of fishes in the pond will be 0, right? It's like there's no change. You have 10 people, you have 10 births, but also 10 deaths. Now, in the month of April, you have 6 born, but 12 dead. So that means you actually dropped by 6 fishes, right? What about the month of May? 1, but 7 died. So that means it also drops by 6. Okay, so the population keeps dropping. And in the month of June, you have 4, and now you have 2 died. So the population actually increased by 2. Right? 4 were born, but only 2 died. So the population actually increased. So the question is, which part of the line is incorrectly drawn? Let's see. Between February to March, no change, right? So it's flat, it's correct. So B to C will be March to April, 6 fishes lesser. C to D, 6 fishes lesser. Now in June is interesting. You're supposed to have an increase of 2, but this one went down still. So the mistake must be here lah. Alright, so it must be DE. Answer number 4. Question 23. Compare the life cycle of a cockroach and a frog. So both 3 stages. The young look like the adults is nonsense because the tadpole doesn't look like a frog. Both eggs develop into nymphs, that's nonsense also. Both animals can lay many eggs at the same time, which is possible. Cockroach, tadpoles, a lot. Alright, so the answer will be A and D. Answer is number 2. Mabel conducted an experiment and she increased the mass until the rubber band broke. Wow. For things to break, that means we are trying to test how strong it is, right? Some people who are strong will not break easily. Some people who are weak will break very easily. So we are testing on strength. In case you're wondering why not flexibility, flexibility we are testing on how much you can bend, not whether you can break or not. Alright, so it's nothing to do with flexibility. Okay, let's be patient. We are reaching the end. Question 25. Water was boiled in a kettle as shown this way. So what must this kettle be made of in order for it to boil your water well? So it must be able to conduct heat easily, right? So option A and option C is already out. Must it be waterproof? Of course. Otherwise, you're going to find that your kettle is going to absorb your water. You will probably end up with no water. So option is 2. Alright. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question 26. This lady wants to buy 2 sets of curtains. Very rich lady. And the day curtain needs to allow most light to pass through, which makes sense. Because you need lights to see. In the day, you need to make sure there's light passing through so you can see things inside. The night curtain actually blocks out most of the light. Alright, in case you didn't know, Singapore is one of the brightest city. So at night, it is still quite bright because of the street lights. Having a curtain that will block out most light will help you sleep better. Alright, So the day curtain was supposed to make sure that you are able to block out most light, whereas the night, block the least light, not the most light, block the least light. Then the night curtain is supposed to block the most amount of light. Okay, so this is the amount of light detected. Which one will be good for making day curtain and night curtain? Now, if it is amount of light detected the lowest, that means it blocks the most, right? I'm making short notes. This one will be blocking the least. That means it allows most amount of light to pass through. So block the most, A will be very good for night curtain. Block the least will be very good for day curtain. So A will be for night curtain and C will be for day curtain. Option number 4. Okay, question 27. You are holding on, this lady holding on to a spoon. So you already know where the heat source is coming from, right? This is the heat source. Okay. And also, sometimes she felt that the spoon was getting cold. Which of the following is true? So the spoon lost heat to the ice. Number 1, the spoon lost heat to the ice. That means the spoon actually got colder. Cannot be, right? That's nonsense. The spoon gained heat from the ice. That's also quite... Okay, wait. I think I have made a mistake. The spoon lost heat to the ice is actually correct. The spoon got colder, yes. And the spoon lost heat to the fingers. This one is not quite true. Okay, because the hand itself, the finger is also a heat source. So this one cannot. Option 1 is out. The spoon gained heat from the ice. Okay, how can the ice be giving heat to the spoon? So this one is nonsense. Already is out. The spoon gained heat from the fingers. Okay, lost heat to the ice. That's why the spoon got colder, right? So it's true and it's true. So option number 3 must be already correct. Okay. Question 28, a very typical primary 4 question. You will have done this many times in the past. So what we did was to assume a pole, right? So you may have assumed a different pole from what I do, but it's okay, don't worry. If this is north, this must be south. If there's a south, this has to be a north, right? For it to attract, because unlike poles will attract. This will be a south, this must be a north, south, north, south. So we pretend. Of course, you can do the other way around. Some people have a reverse one. That's also okay. It doesn't matter. You will arrive at the same answer later anyway. This is south, this is north, this is south, this is north. Okay, so let's check which one is a possible arrangement. So B and H attracted. B is the south. Let's just use the black working. Okay. B is south, H is a north. Oh, they are unlike poles and they're attracted. So this must be a possible one, right? So already the answer is out. Okay, so that's for the MCQ. So can you please check to see whether you have achieved out of 56 marks at least a 50. Each question 2 marks. Alright, a 50 will be a very good mark because you will have already passed science just with MCQ. Okay, so goodbye.